Hello, we're here today with Mark Knox, who is advisor to HD DVD division at Toshiba. Mark, hello.
Hello there, how are you?
Hi. You have a very nice booth at Toshiba, mainly dealing with HD DVD. So can you tell us what's the status today for HD DVD?
Well, to put it simply, we're really having fun with HD DVD here at CES 2007. Last year at CES 2006, we made some promises. Some people said, boy, those are pretty aggressive promises. But fortunately, I can tell you today that we not only met but exceeded a lot of those goals. We had hoped for 150 titles by the end of the year. We were at 160 in the United States alone, 280 worldwide. We had hoped to successfully launch our first generation. We actually launched the second generation in the fall of last year, and with great sales velocity. And finally, we had hoped to accomplish at least a few interesting interactive features on discs. We were able to launch titles like Miami Vice Tokyo Drift, or Miami Vice and Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, that have interactivity that's being described as I've never seen a product like this before. So we're having a lot of fun.
That's amazing. What can we expect on the hardware side in 2007?
Well, one announcement that was made here at CES is a new model. The second generation in the United States was the HD A2 at a $499 price point, maximum 1080i output, and the XA2 at a $999 price point. That includes a 1080p output. Here at CES, we announced the A20, which brings that 1080p capability down to $599.
Whoa, that's a record.
So that is driving a lot of sales. And as we admittedly do battle in the wonderful world of formats, it's quite a 1-2-3 punch when you can have 1080p at $599, standalone player at $499, and if you happen to be one of the millions that owns an Xbox 360, you can get in the game for $200.
That's a real advantage. And what about software? Because, I mean, you need to have good software.
You do, right, exactly. You do need to have good software, and I'd advise anyone who's curious about what's going on is just go to the lookandsoundofperfect.com, and it will show you exactly what titles are released and are coming. And if they've been released, do a web search on that title, and you'll be able to read the reviews of the titles that are there. And we have some spectacular titles that are out there. Everything from Mission Impossible 3 to Miami Vice to Harry Potter films coming soon. There's really a lot of good stuff. And in every instance, it's just absolutely spectacular video quality and tremendous multi-channel and, on some discs, lossless sound.
Very good. For people who don't know what HD DVD can offer as multimedia functionality, can you describe us some of the features we're going to have in 2007 in many discs?
Sure. Well, one of the features that was demonstrated at an event recently is online interactivity. So this could be something as simple as downloading a trailer for the next film in a sequel. And that content doesn't have to be on the disc. You can actually use the mandatory Ethernet connection and go online and get that new content. Another interesting option is you have the ability to not just store bookmarks so that you can choose your own chapter sets. You can actually choose an out point, so start here, end here, and you can make combinations of those things. So you've all heard the term director's cut. How about making your own cut? And once that's done, eventually we'll see things like studios creating their own communities that you access through your HD DVD player, and you can now share some of these items with your friends. So you create a new version of the movie by stringing those clips together, send an email to your buddy who also has an HD DVD player, and the info about where those start and stop points arrives on his doorstep. And that's just the beginning, frankly, of the kinds of new features that will be possible.
So online is the key for 2007
online is
and
one
HD
of,
DVD.
Right. Online is one of the keys. One of the intriguing things about HD DVD is that there are 3 different layers or levels of disc that you can make. If you just want to put high-definition video and high-resolution audio, you can make what's called a standard contents disc. Simple menus, not much interactivity. You can do that very easily, and even some consumers will be doing that on their PCs with the new HD writers that were announced here. Type 2 contents is when it's much more interactive, and you could do things like Tokyo Drift, put up a GPS display on where you were in Tokyo, put up a laundry list of what the damage was after that car crash. That's going to cost him $16,470. Or even look at the storyboards or look at picture-in-picture of the guy rehearsing the fight before he actually goes in there and does it. That can all be done, and all of the materials that are used are on the disk. That's Type 2. And then Type 3 is when you start going online and getting material that was never on the disk and doing interactivity with that. So it's not just online that's the key. It's the ability to be interactive with material that's already on the disk, and the ability for the consumer to actually do different things with it, and the player will remember that. When you put Miami Vice back in, it knows where your clips are, it knows where you set your bookmarks, it knows who your buddies are that you sent that stuff to, and that's all stored in the player, so you can even play another disc, then put Miami Vice back in, and it'll remember all that stuff for you automatically.
Well, that's convenient. How about making your own HD DVD disc? Can consumer hope to have their own in 2007 for maybe HD movie they shot with a camera?
Yes, they can, and there are a number of providers that are exhibiting here at the show. People like Nero and Apple and Cyberlink that are offering tools for the PC that enable you to create your own HD DVD discs and then burn them on HD DVD burners. So you're going to see a lot of movies out there, not just from the major studios, but from some of those famous online providers whose primary venue is YouTube today.
What about the manufacturers? What's going on with HD DVD and famous manufacturers?
Well, fortunately, there were a lot of announcements here at CES about new manufacturers, both at the high end of the scale and at a more attractive price point level. One of those is Meridian, and Meridian is a company that is quite well known for a number of reasons, not the least of which is that's where a technology called Meridian lossless packing came from, the core technology behind DVD audio. So Meridian will be producing HD DVD players, Onkyo will be producing HD DVD players, and there's a real benefit when you take HD DVD, connect it via HDMI to an AV receiver, both made by the same manufacturer. You can see a much easier operation and some pretty compelling things there. But just as important as that high-end community, we have joined with several Asian makers that currently produce a huge volume of standard DVD players. Alco and Shinko are manufacturers that do a spectacular business in great volume. So, in effect, what we've done is we've created an entire universe of HD DVD, from the simple, most basic player for disc playback to the highest quality, most elite player for the most rabid AV enthusiast out there.
You talked about Shinko. Do you think maybe in 2007 we'll have a portable HD DVD player?
I'm
not a computer,
right?
But
no,
a real
I
portable
understand,
one.
And it's certainly possible. I can't, announce any product plans for any of my good buddies there, but it certainly makes sense. And another issue that you can see here at the show, speaking of mobile, is Alpine will be producing an HD DVD-based system for the car.
Aha. That's where it is. About the titles you mentioned, how many titles can we expect in 2007?
The announcement was made that at least 300 new titles for 2007. And frankly, we anticipate that number could increase very rapidly. One of the things that we have been enjoying of late, that was not the case at the beginning of last year, is there's a much larger number of authoring facilities that have the necessary tools to create HD DVDs, and there are even now PC solutions available from Apple, Cyberlink, Nero, and others. So it's a much easier process to get the equipment you need to author an HD DVD today as opposed to a year ago. So at least 300 titles will be coming, things like Harry Potter and Babel and The Good Shepherd and a whole array of other titles. Most of them will be released what's known as day and date. So the movie comes out, when the DVD is released, the HD DVD will be released. Or in some cases, it'll be one release because you'll have standard and high def on one disc.
And what do you think the price point will be for these releases?
Right now, the typical street price, if you will, is $25 to $30 for an HD DVD title and $35 to $40 for a combination disc. I don't expect that price to change dramatically, but what is also true is as time goes on, an existing title's price doesn't go up. So when it's first released, it's at its suggested retail price. Within a few months, it's less than that, and within a year, it's significantly less than that. So it's a real opportunity, I think, for new HD DVD customers that may purchase, say, a $200 drive for their Xbox this year. They'll be able to buy movies that were released last year that are still pretty darn cool, and they'll be at significantly lower prices.